Next question.
Just payday, payday. You want payday? I know that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Renee Box Young, a platform where we simply discuss, critique, and analyze, and simply talk about sport of boxing in level-headed, mature, coherent fashion. Definitely, hey, subscribers since day one, recent subscribers, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much, man, for tuning in to the Flash Lives. Playback family also definitely commenting on the comment section, of the videos and the lives and stuff like that. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new to the platform and if you love the sport of boxing, this is play for you. Just hit the notification bell so you know when I do my Flash Lives, so you know when I do premieres such as this. And thank you guys so much, man. I want to talk about this, just a couple. I just want to get my 2 cents on this concerning Canelo. And these guys that are calling him out. If you saw the Triller event, I didn't. I just saw the clip where, the short clip. I think it was round 1 where this Vitor guy, former UFC, whatever, MMA fighter, knocked out or beat Holyfield easy. Yeah, I don't know if, people out there are surprised about this, but what are you surprised about? You know what I'm saying? Which is why I didn't waste my time to watch that event. But, if you watched it, that's great. You know what I'm saying? Big ups to everybody who watched it. And it is what it is, And the thing here is, this is what I want to talk about, man. Concerning Canelo Alvarez, man. I mean, and we're going to get to what, Belfort said specifically, after the fight. Oh, my gosh. We got to understand, man, that, Canelo, as controversial as he may be or whatever in his trajectory, he's the money man right now in the sport of boxing, man. I'm not saying that I don't do that pocket watching stuff, but I'm not saying that he makes the most out of everybody. I don't know, man. Whatever. People may know that out there, whatever, and know the exact numbers and, pocket watch the guy to the fullest, know where his mansions are, know his investments and things of that nature. I don't. I just wish the best to all these guys, you know what I'm saying? But I don't do all that pocket watching stuff. But we must admit, and it's quite clear that, Canelo, he's the man. Like before, when you go to Floyd Mayweather. No, I'm not saying that Canelo's the next Floyd Mayweather. No, I'm not. Let's not misinterpret this stuff, okay? What I'm saying here, I'm just saying that when Floyd Mayweather, when he was in his career, a lot of guys wanted to fight him because they knew he was the money man, you know what I'm saying? And right now, these guys are all shifting to Canelo. How many people have called out Canelo in the past year at least? One example is Chris Eubank Jr. And now, I have had hope in Chris Eubank Jr. years ago, and I've talked about him. I give my props to him. But as of late, I'm really not convinced with Chris Eubank Jr. anymore. The guys he's been fighting lately, and he really don't fight anyway. So, I mean, Chris Eubank Jr., I was, quite intrigued, and I was really interested in him, in his trajectory. But as of late, last couple years, I'm not anymore. And he's calling out Canelo as of late recently because we got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, ever since Canelo, it seems like when he left or when he was in the DAZN contract, he started making a lot of money. I don't know if he made more before the whole DAZN thing and Golden Boy, making that, deal with DAZN. But, Canelo, ever since, seems like all the money he was making for each fight in DAZN, he was making a lot of money. And ever since he left DAZN, you know what I'm saying? What, this Plant fight, he's making like $30 million or something like that? Whatever. He's making a lot of money, though. My point in saying this is that as of late, now it seems like, the whole world wants to fight this guy. You know what I'm saying? And I think we can see through this stuff, especially with Belfort. So let's get right to it, man. Let's see what, Belfort has to say. Vitor Belfort, boxingscene.com, link in the description, you already know. It says here, this is right after the, Holyfield fight, whatever. Canelo will not fight me at 185. I promise you he will not have the kahunas. Ouch. Okay. First and foremost, man, I have no idea. Like I said, I didn't watch the event. I can care less about it. I just watched the highlights and stuff. I watched the clips, of Holyfield getting smashed or whatever. I don't know, man. Whatever. Whatever happened, okay? I don't know why Canelo was brought up here. Kind of reminds me of Jake Paul also with that hit list that he had or whatever. And I mentioned in my last video concerning Jake Paul that, Jake Paul versus Canelo, that's laughable. That's just a laughable matchup. But we know why they're doing this, ladies and gentlemen. We know why they're doing this. I wouldn't be surprised if Logan Paul soon calls out, Canelo. I wouldn't be surprised if, I think Conor McGregor did it before. I mean, they know he's the money man and they just want to cash in. That's all they do. They just want to cash in on this guy and fight him, even though they're going to get smashed and look silly. And, when Jake Paul, expressed his hit list or whatever. He mentioned Canelo, and that's just laughable. That's just laughable, and so, Vitor Belfort, and I don't know what, like in this post-fight thing, I don't know what brought up Canelo, but these guys are calling him out because they know they just want the money. That's all it is. That's all it is here. There's even though he says this, even though Belfort tries to hype it up and make himself look competitive to Canelo, there's no competition here, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, he will not have the. Come on now. Stop trying to sell yourself. That's what that's one take I want to put here. That that's one of my aspects I want to talk about in this video. Vitor Belfort, talking. These guys talk hard. They talk like that Canelo has no skills and they'll smash him. We see through this, ladies and gentlemen. As much as Belfort wants to hype up this call out. It's laughable, ladies and gentlemen. This is also laughable, just as much as Jake Paul calling out, Canelo is laughable. McGregor, the list goes on and on with these guys calling out Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Charlo, I think, is a different story. But we know as of late, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, come on now. Let's just be real here. As time goes by, people change. People change. And with Jamal Charlo, at least, I don't know about him, man. It's just hard to say what he really wants, in the sport of boxing. He had the great opportunity to unify against Andrade. He knocked that off, you know what I'm saying? His performance against Montiel wasn't the best. I just don't know about Charlo right now. And the whole thing with Benavidez, blah, blah, blah. But why am I mentioning Charlo? Because Charlo has been one of the few that had, who have been calling out Canelo for years, plural. It was a while ago since he called him out. But as of late, I'm not so sure of that, But, going back here, I understand Belfort trying to make that check and stuff, but no one's buying this. No one's going to buy this, man. At least, fans that really know about the sport of boxing, you can hype it up as much as you want. He will not fight me at 185, I promise you. He probably, the thing here is Canelo's probably laughing at that, you know what I'm saying? He's probably like, yeah, I won't fight you, not because I don't have the kahunas, it's because you're a joke to me. You know what I'm saying? That's why Canelo here on the thumbnail, he's just laughing away. He's just like, I ain't gonna lose no sleep over you. Who are you? Who are you? If I'm not mistaken, Belfort, like I said, I really don't know, and I don't really care about these events, these exhibitions and stuff like that. Even though the legends are in there, all due respect to the legends who participate in these events. You already know the names: Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, blah blah blah, right? No disrespect to them at all. It's just that the events, to me, they're silly. Even Cesar Chavez Sr. I don't. At first I was like, wow, but. And I get it, man. The passion, they just want to keep boxing, or whatever the reason is, or whatever the motive is, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is just. I think Canelo's just laughing away at these guys, man. It's like, come on, man. This is a joke. Let's get back to this real quick, man. So we got, he will not fight me at 185, I promise you, okay? He will not have the kahunas to come, I promise you. If he does, we got $30 million. Now, he's talking about $30 million. I don't know what he means by we. Maybe Triller. Maybe they're looking for him, I just don't know, man. But this is a joke to me, man. This is a huge joke. Huge joke. They're all calling him out. You know what I'm saying? How old is he? 44 years old or something like that? Whatever age Belfort is, it's a joke, man. This is an easy check for Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Down here at the bottom it says, quote, "It's time for boxers to let the clinch. If I can grab you, if I can get a hold of you boxers, you watch. You watch what happens. What's happened?" Okay, whatever, man. However you view Canelo, man, whether you see him as a cheat, whether you see him as, he buys the judges off or whatever. I know the story and I know the trajectory and I know the controversy behind Canelo. But when you just look at skills, this is just laughable. This is just laughable. Now, what I think is going to happen is this, man, concerning Canelo and these guys calling him out. These guys calling him out. Canelo has bigger fish to fry. First and foremost, he's going for undisputed. Everybody knows the story at 168, right? Against the, Plant, which I think he'll get, which I think he will obtain. After that, who knows what the heck he's going to do, right? But I'm assuming he's going to move up to 175 and fight those other names, right? That are up there. You already know the names. I'm assuming, the point here is that he has bigger fish to fry. Canelo has bigger fish to fry. However, I do think what just happened with Oscar De La Hoya recently with all that, backstabbing stuff he's been saying, concerning Canelo, trying to ridicule him, trying to, degrade Canelo on, social media or whatever the heck. What did Canelo? I made a video about that. What did Oscar just say recently? No, I changed my mind. I was thinking about it. I don't want to fight Canelo. Getting back to that real quick. this whole thing of Oscar De La Hoya getting COVID, you know, I'm not doubting he got COVID, and I've expressed time and time again concerning that issue. You know, I you know, prayers up to Oscar, and from what I know, he's getting better, and that's great. You know what I'm saying? That's great. I think it was good that maybe Oscar pulled out or something, because maybe he would have gotten hurt against Belfort, right? Who knows, right? But what I think is going to happen is this, man. All these guys, you know, Oscar, Belfort, Jake Paul, McGregor, et cetera, all these guys that have been calling Canelo out, you know what I think is going to happen? You know what I think is going to happen? After Canelo fries the fish that he has to fry, I'm not saying he's going to beat them all, right? Maybe he'll lose. I don't know. You know, we don't even know if he's going to beat Plant. Let's make that clear. I think he will, but, I mean, it's going to be a good fight, man. The closer the fight gets, it's going to be great, you know what I'm saying? But what I think is going to happen is this, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. People out there have been speculating that, you know, Canelo is kind of following the Mayweather blueprint or whatever in negotiations and blah, 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 and that Canelo is going to the extreme of what Mayweather did, blah, 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 whatever. But what I think is going to happen is this, as far as a similarity, you know, a similarity to what Floyd Mayweather did, I think Canelo's going to do this. He's gonna, you know, get his fights in, his real fights. I'm not talking about the, you know, the yield rims and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But I think that he's gonna fight one of these guys, man. Whether it be Belfort, whether it be Jake Paul, whether it be freaking, you know, KSI, whoever these guys are, man. You know, all these guys that are just, you know, trying out the sport of boxing and cashing in millions, you know, on, you know, it is what it is, man. They're just making money and cashing in, you know what I'm saying? I think Canelo's gonna fight one of these guys. I think he will, man. I think he really will. But I think first it's gonna, you know, ladies and gentlemen, remember, how many more years does Canelo have in the sport of boxing? He has quite a bit. Now the thing here is that a lot of people are ignoring, and I've mentioned it time and time again when it comes to Canelo talking, you know, throughout the years. He had surgery on his knee. I don't know if his knees are gonna last, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not so sure if his knees are gonna last, man. I mean, you know, he has a lot of experience, a lot of years, you know, in the sport of boxing, and his knees are getting to him, man. I remember he got one of his knees, an operation on one of his knees. I think it was his right knee, some time ago. And who knows, man, how much longer Canelo's gonna last? His projection is like 5-7 years or something like that. Whatever he said, you know, recently, as of late, he talked about, you know, he has several more years in the sport. And I think personally, after, you know, fighting several guys in other divisions or what have you, getting more belts, whether he lose or not lose, I think he's going to continue fighting for a minute. And then towards the end of his career, all these guys that are calling him out, you know, the Oscar De La Hoyas, the Belforts, and all these guys, I wouldn't even be surprised if that Brazilian guy, what is his name, Anderson or Silva Anderson, something like that, you know, the guy that fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Recently. And if I'm not mistaken, Vitor Belfort, he fought also in the undercard of that fight or whatever, in that exhibition event. I didn't really watch it. I did see Silva Anderson, I may admit, okay? I mean, hey, Anderson got some skills, but whatever. You know, maybe Canelo will fight even, you know, Silva Anderson, but I think Canelo will cash out on one of these guys because it's easy work, ladies and gentlemen. This is easy work, man. Floyd did it, and he made hundreds of millions or however he made it. He made a lot of money. And who wouldn't do that, ladies and gentlemen? Who wouldn't do that? If you were in Canelo's shoes, man, I'm sure you would do it too. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he's going to do it anytime soon. Because you got here, you know, going back to that article, you know, Vitor Belfort, wherever that money's coming from, who knows and who cares? I really don't care. But, you know, he's talking about, you know, the $30 million thing. You know, if he does, we got 30 million. Maybe it's Triller. So, you know, don't be surprised if you see Canelo on Triller one of these days. But I wouldn't think it's anytime soon, though. Like I said, man, I think, you know, he's going to do his business in, you know, in real boxing. In real boxing, because I don't even consider this a real boxing match, ladies and gentlemen. That's another point I want to, you know, bring out here. I don't think this would even be considered a real freaking boxing match. It would be sparring for Canelo. And who wouldn't do that? If you were in Canelo's shoes, you would most likely do that. And most of us would probably do it a lot sooner. You know, ever since, you know, Belfort, he just blabbed out that figure. You know, most of us, if we were in Canelo's shoes, we would probably get that after Plant. We would do the Plant fight, and then we would turn around and go for this guy and say, hey, where's the money? You talking about that 30 million? I'll spar you. Easy work. Easy work, man. Who wouldn't do that, ladies and gentlemen? Why do you think Floyd Mayweather did that to McGregor? I mean, easy work. Who's not going to do that? Canelo has a name, he has a clout, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And all these guys are calling him out. Why wouldn't he do it? And I think he's going to do it. I wouldn't think he's doing it. I don't think he's going to do it soon. Who the heck am I to know this stuff? I don't know the guy. I don't know Canelo, man. You know what I'm saying? I just know what I know and see what I see, you know, through the sport of boxing as a fan. But I wouldn't doubt, and don't be surprised if you see Canelo on Triller sometime. Maybe not soon, but sometime in the future. Or maybe he'll turn around and do one of these fights, you know, one of these sparring matches, you know, in these silly events. Maybe he'll choose, you know, one of these guys, Jake Paul or something, between, like, for example, you know, if he beats Plant or whatever after Plant fight, maybe he'll do a warm-up gig and fight one of these guys, a Belfort, a Jake Paul or something, just to cash in. You know, it's a sparring match. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents I want to give on it. You know, all these guys, they want to call out. A lot of these guys, man, I would say most of them, they're calling out Canelo and they're trying to sound competitive and that they'll put up a good fight against Canelo and blah, blah, blah. I think the majority, it's because they just want a paycheck, man. It's not necessarily because they think they'll beat him. It's because they just want the money. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? Once a fighter really, I think Benavidez is an exception. Maybe I think Plant is an exception too. Okay, I think those guys really want to fight him because they want legacy. They really want, you know, respect to that. Even though Plant, he has that, you know, trajectory of the fighters he's been fighting, they don't convince me, and I don't think that, you know, they're preparing him really for a Canelo fight. But who knows, man? Because Plant, he's really skilled, has Andre Ward, you know, in his team training him or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? I think Plant's an exception. I think Benavidez is an exception. I think they really want to fight him for legacy, not necessarily just for the bag. That's just my humble opinion on it. But a lot of these other guys, man, I would say 98%, 95%, whatever percentile, you know, just a high percentage, most of them, they just want to fight Canelo for the money. That's all it is, man. They just want the bag because Canelo's the guy right now. You know, maybe you'll put another name out there. You know, so-and-so is the face of boxing. Whatever. I'm not saying who's the face of boxing here. I'm just saying that Canelo, he's the money man right now, man. Sure, there's other guys out there that are money mans or whatever you want to call them. But like I say, I don't do that pocket watching stuff. But, you know, Canelo, I mean, the guys that he fights, you know, they're getting nice paydays. For crying out loud, Billy Joe Saunders, if I'm not mistaken, he just retired, supposedly. Why are people doing this? Why are these fighters doing this silly nonsense? You're not freaking Floyd Mayweather. For example, Billy Joe Saunders. Oh, yeah, he announced his retirement after getting smashed by Canelo, okay? I'm retiring. And then he comes back, you know, shortly after. No, I'm not retiring. You know, Chris Eubank Jr., you know, if the money's right, I'll fight him. You're not making enough money. You're not the A-side. Shut up, man. I mean, you know, these guys are acting like they have, you know, accomplished accolades as Floyd Mayweather did. For crying out loud, Billy Joe Saunders, he supposedly retired. And we know why he retired, because of that check he made from Canelo. Huge paycheck, man. Huge paycheck. I'm not saying Canelo, you know, he's trying to imitate Floyd Mayweather or whatever. I don't know, man. That's your thing. You can interpret it however you want concerning the moves that Canelo's making. I don't know. But I do know this. I do know this. All these guys that are fighting Canelo as of late, as of maybe the last couple years or something like that, ever since he's really been cashing in, you know, on those paychecks and those fights and these deals he's making. And, you know, they want to fight him because of the checks, man. Most of them. So they can ride off into the wind. People are saying out there, which I don't necessarily agree with, but some people are even saying that, you know, some people are even saying that Plant might even retire after taking this loss, you know what I'm saying? And just ride off into the wind with those $10 million, man. Wow. It's a nice paycheck, ladies and gentlemen. Can't deny it. But I think Plant will continue fighting, you know what I'm saying? I think he'll continue boxing. And if he beats Canelo, just imagine how his career and name will skyrocket. Wow. But getting back to this, Belfort, you guys actually think that this is just a paycheck call out, and he's trying to hype it up. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Belfort keeps running his mouth off on social media in these interviews, and these media men and women or whoever, you know, hyping up this silly nonsense, making the public, trying to make the public actually think that Belfort has even a remote chance against Canelo because of the, you know, the big mouth that Belfort may have, and all these other guys. You know what I'm saying? When Canelo is just, you see this thumbnail, he's just laughing away in his mind. He's like, yeah, you'll have your day one of these days. I'll do a sparring match against you, and I'll make millions and millions and millions of dollars doing it. You know, you're nothing to me. This is a joke. This is laughable to Canelo, man. I think this is just, to me at least, this is laughable. All these guys calling him out, it's just laughable. And don't be surprised, I repeat once again, don't be surprised, okay, if Canelo in the future fights one of these guys. Easy money. And another point is this, and I kind of said it throughout this video. Most people in Canelo's shoes would do the same thing. You know, they would do the same thing. And all these media people, you know, and trying to hype up these call outs, you know, I can see through this. This is nothing. This is, and a lot of people tried to hype up this whole Holyfield and Belfort thing. It was nothing, man. I mean, I knew what was, that was a joke, man. You know, but like I said, all due respect to legends, even Belfort, respect to him, man. I mean, you know, respect to Holyfield. It's a joke because they shouldn't even be fighting at that age, you know, but whatever, man. I mean, most people in Canelo's shoes would take a fight like this. Most people in Canelo's shoes, after Plant, they would run to Belfort and say, hey, give me that easy check, man. This is laughable, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see, man. I hope this trend dies out soon. I really do hope this trend dies out soon, concerning all these old guys coming back, man. Whatever. But, you know, as that audio clip that I put in the beginning of the video, I'm going to put it at the end of this video. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And you'll see what it is. If you didn't tune in at the beginning, you'll hear it in a moment. That's what it's about. Hey, Renee Boxing, what do you think about all this, man? You know, subscribe. Thanks so much. If you're a new listener, if you love the sport of boxing, this is a place for you. You know, thank you guys so much, you know, for tuning in. Subscribers since day one, recent subscribers. You know, Renee Boxing is a platform where we simply discuss, critique, analyze, simply talk about sport of boxing, level-headed, mature fashion. Hit the notification bell so you know when I do my premieres of these videos. And when I do my flash lives. I appreciate you all. Playback family, you guys are all awesome. Thank you guys so much. Renee Boxing. Peace out. Stay safe.
Next question.
Just payday, payday. You want payday. I know that.